Hey everybody, Dave Laird here with Armed Republic Radio, and I started an interesting conversation with my son Brayden yesterday while we were busy working on garage modifications, and so I thought he had some brilliant thoughts on teenagers nowadays, and so I thought it'd be cool if we got a chance to test some things, which we figured out that live streaming on YouTube is not as easy to set up as we thought, but also there's some webcam stuff we're still working on. So we're recording this via Zoom because that's what we've been most successful with so far. And now we're going to we'll post it up later and you guys will get a chance to see it. So Brayden Laird is 17 years old and we live in the greater Phoenix metro area. And you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this. All right. So tell me what we were talking about yesterday. We were talking about like what we think.
I kids. Like the biggest problems with like kids now, I think is what we're talking about.
Yeah. So we were talking about the Texas shooting. Right. And weird. You know, you've been to a couple different schools.
Yeah.
We won't name schools, but you started off at a charter school that was like kindergarten through high school, right? Mm-hmm. And they didn't even have the high school program initially when you started. They added that
like later.
Yeah, maybe like a year or two before you were ready for high school. And did you do like a year there first?
I did K through 8th.
K through 8th?
Yeah.
And you did a year of homeschool. Mm-hmm. And that was before COVID.
Yeah, that was for 7th. I finished like half of 7th.
Why was it you wanted to do the homeschool thing?
Because I hated going to school, waking up early.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sucked. So doing it at my own pace was like fun for like a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
no social interaction at all.
Yeah.
Just go insane. Yeah. At least I do. I need to talk to people. Yeah.
You're a social butterfly.
Yeah.
You gotta have people around. So you ended up deciding that you wanted to go back to school. So was it homeschool for just a semester or was it for a whole year?
Just a semester.
It was like the last semester of school. Because I remember you finished with
right
homeschool.
After, New Year. So.
And then you jumped into public school, high school, and that was like a big change.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what did you like about homeschool? What did you not like about homeschool?
I liked that I could do anything like I wanted at my own pace. It was literally like maybe they give you one video showing you how to do it, and then the rest was up to you.
Yeah.
And then what I didn't like about it was that again, everyone was at work or at school, so I was just at home. Yeah. I would get done by maybe like 10 a.m. and I had like the rest of the day to just like play video games. But it was just by myself. It sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and as a kid, I'd think that was the coolest thing ever. The one drawback I saw was like, if you're done with everything by 10 o'clock, think about how much learning you could have gotten done the rest of the day had they challenged you, gave you more work to do.
Well, yeah, but I was in 7th grade. No way I was going to.
Right? 7th grade. Yeah. But then you jumped into high school and now you're at a big school. It's like a metropolitan high school. It's not like the charter school where like every kid and all their families and all that sort of stuff. How big of a change is that for you?
Terrible. It was pretty bad at first because I don't think I did not think there was any difference. I was like, whatever, like it's just public school. What
were the big differences that stood out?
Big differences that stood out.
Yeah.
I guess because nobody knows each other, like the parents, like dropping off their kids, dude.
Yeah.
Violent.
But
rough.
What?
Rough, dude. Like, okay, like with the small school, they're all like they all know each other, like by first name basis.
Right.
Nobody knows each other. Nobody cares. It's like, dude, they get in honking competitions, like
in
the parking lot. Like, it just gets brutal the moment you're getting dropped off.
Dude, we could probably talk for hours about stuff you've seen parents do.
Yeah.
Like when you're out in public, shooting ranges, things like that. We could talk for hours just about that alone. But like, what do you think? Like, what's your perception of adults?
Oh God. I don't even know. What's my, like, how do I feel about adults?
No, like what's your perception about adults in general? Like, because you've had some interactions with adults doing adult stuff. You've had some interactions with adults in school. What's your overall opinion of adults right now?
I literally, I think their bodies grow up. I think they look older, but I don't think they change much, honestly.
You don't think they mature?
I've met a lot of really bad parents. Yeah, a lot of really bad parents that like definitely just let their kids just kind of like yeah, and it's very like it's like wow, you're like still a teenager, like you're still like just 17, but you look 40.
Yeah.
Which
so
I don't think yeah.
All right, so we were talking yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think the biggest problem is with kids today?
I think that they believe, or I don't think they understand that the world is more than what you see. I don't think they realize that, that there's like a spiritual aspect to everything that is going around them.
Okay.
And inside them as well. I don't think they realize that like,
their thoughts are not their own.
Thoughts and feelings that they have all day long, and all the little voice inside their head, like it's not just them. It's not coming from just like, I think I think it's very easy to get caught up in school and like athletics and everything like that.
Yeah.
That like I don't think you have time as a kid to even stop, or like the wisdom to even stop and be like, oh, this is something more going around.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have parents to like to raise you in a good household that you're taught those ideas. But
so you think parents play an important role in kids and how they think?
Yeah.
Okay. So describe your childhood. What was it like growing up in your house? What did your parents do raising you that made you think for yourself?
Well, I think I don't know what to say. School was prioritized. My mom read to me, so education was important. I was, education was instilled in me at a young age.
Yeah. What about Christianity? Where does that come from?
Church on Sundays.
Yeah.
Well, that's when it was like introduced to me. That's when I heard about it.
You weren't forced, right?
No.
Church wasn't forced on you. No. I remember one of the most powerful things my mom ever said to me when I was growing up was she said, the Bible never contradicts itself. It never says one thing and then another thing, which didn't make sense to me as a young teenager. But she's like, go through the Bible, read it, and try to find a place where it contradicts itself or where it says something that isn't true. And so that led me to want to, because there's so many different religions out there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's Judaism, there's Catholicism, there's Islam, there's Buddhism and Taoism. Taoism was one I found. And I would get to a certain point with each one of them before I was like, yeah, this doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just reading straight up King James version of the Bible, there was places where I had questions, but it was great that I had ministers, pastors that I could go to and ask them questions. And then sometimes they'd give me an answer. I'd be like, all right, that makes perfect sense. Other times they'd give me an answer and I'd be like, oh my God, this is even more confusing now. You know what I mean?
And now I have more questions.
I'd say that I kept searching and I was even a full-grown man. I still found passages that were very revealing. But what you said in the garage yesterday was very revealing, because you said that kids don't realize their spiritual connection, that they think that all their thoughts are their own.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
So I don't remember where I read it. I know that it was in the gospel somewhere. And I think it was in maybe Matthew or Mark. But I think Jesus was talking to St. Peter, and he asks him, like, who am I, pretty much? And so he answers, you're the Son of God, you are God, you're here to do this. And he praises him. And Jesus is like, very, very good. That idea came from my Father. So good job. And then he tells him that in a little while, I'm going to be crucified. And he flips out. He doesn't want him to do it. And he's discouraging him. And this is where, he says, Satan, get behind me. He doesn't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
Because obviously Satan doesn't want Jesus to sacrifice himself for everybody, blah, blah. And that, like, I was confused when I read that. And that's when I did a little more like reading, or maybe I watched something on it. But I read what he's telling you right there is that like you are influenced by outside sources. So like things that you think or feel, and the things that people are saying, that's not always coming from like within himself. Yeah, exactly. It's coming from somewhere deeper. So that kind of changed my idea of like every interaction I have with a lot of people, like anyone at all. Like,
Well, and I know we're supposed to give all praise to everything successful to God, right? Yeah. That if we win a race, athletes give thanks to God. If somebody's successful in business, they give thanks to God. All that sort of stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, thank God, because he made that opportunity happen. He brought those things into your life, all that sort of stuff. But what you said in the garage the other day made a stronger with me in that moment than I've ever heard before, because my correlation to the same thing is always based on evil, because my life has pretty much been focused around preventing evil, stopping bad people from doing bad shit. And what is their mindset? Where does this evil thought come from? Because going into a high school and killing a bunch of little kids, you got to be off your fucking rocker.
Yeah.
Okay. To like, oh, I think I'm going to get up. I think I'm going to fucking grab a rifle. I think I'm going to go to a school. I'm going to plan the whole fucking thing. Like, how do you go from, what do you want for dinner, babe? Chicken and rice, to, the next morning, fuck it, I'm going to shoot my grandmother in the face. Okay. Where does this come from? You know what I'm saying? And I would say like, really, like Sandy Hook, dude, was like the epitome. Like holy cow, like you got to be evil. I know that bad people do bad stuff to kids every single day. And I'm sure that there's more, if you look at Vietnam and Cambodia and what happened when we pulled out, just the absolute carnage, like something like 2 million people got just slaughtered, men, women, children slaughtered, dude. Bones for miles, right? Hacked limb from limb. You look at Somalia, and what happened in South, in Africa, right? And same thing, warring tribes hacking each other up with machetes, giving kids crack cocaine and AK-47s, and there's true evil in this world.
Yeah.
Right. America is not special when it comes to evil. We're special in a lot of ways, but it's because we were founded on a Christian faith, regardless of what anybody thinks. And that moral compass is important. And I feel like today's society's gone away from it. I've always looked at the book of Genesis, where Eve is having a conversation with a serpent. Okay? And I think it's interesting they use the word serpent and they didn't just flat out say Satan. Okay. And he doesn't lie to her. He causes her doubt. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's because of that doubt that he causes her that she begins to think that eating the fruit is not such a bad thing. She convinces Adam to eat the same fruit. So I've always been aware that there are evil outside influences. But you're the first person that really made me think, well, duh, if there's...
Well, that's the importance of it, because Jesus, they say that he had no influence. He had right? Well, clearly he had exterior influence, because Satan brings him up on the mountain and tells him, you can have everything. I have it all here for you,
Yeah. So
clearly there was like exterior influence, but he didn't have any interior because he was pure,
Yeah.
He didn't have that little voice he said,
But people do.
But people do, yeah.
People do.
Yeah. Which is why.
So again, kids today getting that, as a parent, you always tell your kids, hey, look, there's a little angel sitting on your shoulder. He's whispering good things into you. And then there's the bad angel on the other side whispering the other stuff. Like you can, that feeling you get in your gut when you're doing something bad, you shouldn't be doing. You need to listen to that, because that's God talking through you. And so you sort of think, because kids have kind of moved away from religion, that they are not aware that there is a spiritual influence, both good and evil, in their lives today. They think that they are the product of they just...
Yeah. Just stardust.
Stardust.
Just, yeah.
They're created from stardust.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, because they believe in evolution.
No moral compass at all.
There's a big bang.
Yeah.
And I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that being said, we also have talk to me a little bit about your parents or your friends' parents. What have you seen with friends' parents?
Like what have I seen with friends' parents? Like
Yeah, like what are the you got friends that are good, you got friends that are having struggles, right?
Yeah.
So talk to me about those relationships. How important is it?
Oh my Lord. I think the worst ones are the ones that force religion for sure, dude. Or like oh my God. Because usually that scares a kid. Like if you raise a kid, you know, being like you're gonna go to hell if you do this, you're gonna go to hell if you do that. Like they just think anything is just God hates me. I'm going to hell if I fuck, you know.
Yeah.
So and then they will rebel the hardest probably from any structured religion or church at all because they just I don't want to.
Can you give me an example without naming names?
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who were raised Catholic.
Okay.
So Catholicism is like just for some reason it seems that like young children growing up in Catholicism, and if it's already kind of a rougher home life as well too, it just doesn't, I get they only hear the bad. They really only take like I think they get drilled too hard with the whole like they only hear the hell part. They only hear the bad.
So how do they rebel? What do they do?
They just if no matter what I do, I go to hell, and why even try? So they just stop trying. They just stop, they do whatever they want. They don't even think about God, probably. In my experience, and it's not like they don't believe, like they do. They don't all just not believe, but they just don't see a point in trying because
there's no reward.
Exactly. Well, and a lot of them don't understand the idea that like you cannot be good enough.
Yeah.
You just have to accept and ask for forgiveness. I don't think people.
Well, you mentioned your understanding of Old Testament versus New Testament.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about that.
Like Testament, I think it means agreement or contract. So it's literally old agreement, old contract,
right?
New agreement, new contract. So now, like when Jesus comes, we know that there's a new agreement, there's a new way, and that is the new rule.
Yeah.
So I still think it's important to read the Old Testament.
Yeah.
But you definitely shouldn't be stoning people, for no
reason
at all. I think that you should.
Well, I've always said like the Old Testament's the old law, New Testament's the new law, right? The new covenant, new agreement. So we try to live by the old law, right? We try to create rules, regulations, live within them, and we weren't able to, right? Because we have the knowledge of good and evil. So we have freedom of choice. We get to make the decision. And because we couldn't follow those rules and laws and all that sort of stuff, that's why Jesus came with a new agreement and died for our sins.
Yeah.
So kids that have an understanding of that, you feel are on a better path.
Yeah.
So a faith of some kind is important to help direct a child into making good choices and decisions.
I do agree. Yeah.
Okay. So second to that is parents. How do you get kids to want to learn about religion? What made you want to learn about it?
I think all you can do is like teach a kid to want to learn, like just instill the importance of learning about anything and just in general, because you can't force a kid to learn about anything they don't want to. They're going to tell you to go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? So, but if you teach them, if you get them, like, I don't know, if they enjoy reading, if they enjoy learning, and if they're naturally asking questions, I think that you can just kind of.
So how did we inspire you?
A parent. Again, you read with me. I learned how to read like super quick. I liked reading. I enjoyed reading. You bought me whatever book I wanted. So if I ever had any questions, you guys answered them. And if I wanted to read the Bible, you read it with me.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we did when you were little was there's a used bookstore down the street. And you asked for some really weird shit. How old are you when you asked for Mein Kampf? Weren't you like fucking? You were like 11.
It was 7th grade,
dude.
It's like really
you were like 11 or 12,
really
right?
Weird, like age to ask for.
He's like, Dad, can I get a copy of Mein Kampf? I'm like, what the? Yeah, you can. Yeah, sure. Why do you want to read it? Well, I just want to better understand Germany and his Nazi. Hitler history, all that sort of like his mindset. You made it only like a few chapters in, right?
Yeah, I only read it. I only read a little bit.
And what'd you discover reading it?
Just like a dick. Just a total dick, which should be pretty,
duh,
foreshadowing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so Hitler's a dick. Okay.
Yeah,
so
Hitler's definitely a bad guy. I can confirm.
But okay. But he's not a book writer.
No, he's just very narcissistic. And he's not. I don't like the way he writes. It's just very. It's the first book I've read that didn't seem like it was written by an author. Like it was written by like just a guy. You know what I mean? And I was like, "What? This is." I was like, I can't read this.
What are your favorite books to read?
But I like a lot of World War II books actually.
Yeah, you had a Walking Dead collection, man.
Oh yeah, I have all the novel, the graphic novels, or most of them.
So that was like another encouraging thing is like when it comes to like inspiring your kids to read, buy them anything they want to freaking read.
Yeah,
like you have a library of 17 volumes, I think, of The Walking Dead in sequential order. Like I remember every Christmas and every birthday, you got like 3 or 4 more Walking Dead comic books.
Dude, I got a steal at a garage sale. I have the Latin, I have the Bible in Latin and Greek.
Are you serious? Dude.
I got it for like $5. This old guy was like, yeah, I have like the whole Bible in like Greek and Latin. So I have it. It's really cool.
I hate you sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Thrift store.
So if I ever learn how to,
garage sale junkie. This kid, you've been shopping for your own clothes for like years now. Yeah. They come home with designer clothes. They found at Goodwill. Just found a camera that he had in his room that he got from Goodwill. Like you're a Goodwill junkie, dude. Like you get your paycheck. You're like, okay, I'm off to Goodwill. And you go to like 5 or 6 Goodwills in a day. Just perusing. So much. But I always found that interesting. And then I always told you, like your mom, and I feel like she is like in the same opinion, like we're not raising kids. You guys are adults in training. And so we did a lot of very adult things with you at an early age. So like the dinner table, when you guys came home from school, we had dinner at the table, and then we would go around the table and ask everybody about their day. And it usually started with the kids, hey, Brooklyn, tell us about your day. How was it? She'd tell all the positives and negatives. You would, and then mom, and then we'll save dad for last. And I think that was really important. We did that all the way up until your teenage years where, it's not cool to do that anymore. But we would go to family dinners, doing things as a family. So grandparents and stuff like that was always important. But if we had an adult conversation, it wasn't like the kids were excused from the table. We wanted to involve the kids in the conversation, know when to speak, how to interact, and be able to give their honest opinion and reflection about whatever was going on in today's day and age. So you guys were exposed to like politics and stuff at an early age, and you guys would keep right on there. I mean, your senses of humor and everything are pretty wicked, because your mom's sense of humor is pretty wicked. So yeah. So reading's really important, being involved with your kids, but but there's parents who are over involved too, right?
Yeah. For sure. Parents that like just want them like their kid to be the like
micromanage.
Yeah. Helicopter parents,
dude. Yeah. So like we enrolled you in karate because karate was a style I didn't study. And then you were about a few weeks into it and you told me to pound sand. Right?
I don't remember. I don't know.
You were not far into it. You were like, you know what? You make me nervous. Get out of here. I don't want to see you. You just drop me off, go away. And so like tournaments and belt testings and everything else, like you didn't want me around.
Well, for the when I had to get my sticker or whatever, we had to get like
the testing.
Yeah, the 2 tests, and then we had like the big test.
Yeah.
You would come to the big test, but the 2 little tests, dude, because they had like 10 parents in there.
Yeah.
And like 5 kids. And so just so quiet and awkward and still.
Yeah.
Performing.
Because that was a hard one for me to swallow. But fortunately, your mom's like, look, you got to give him his space and let him do his thing. So I wouldn't get to watch. And even when we went to tournaments and testings and stuff, I'd want to go there and film the camera. And you get mega pissed if I was within like where you could see me. I had to film from a distance.
I don't think you understand, dude, crowds suck. Crowds suck for me, dude.
I had to do it when I was your age.
Yeah, but you were fine. You're fine.
Oh, whatever. There was quite a few times where I got nervous and screwed up and made mistakes. you did a much better job, I think. My humble
My
opinion.
feet and hands get so like sweaty.
Right. So having a moral compass, parents involved, but not helicoptering, right? What, I mean, you got a job when you were 16, right?
Yeah.
And you basically held the same job ever since.
Yep.
You drive yourself to and from school, pay for your own gas. Your curfew is pretty lenient. It's like it's like midnight.
Yeah, which is like the next day. People are like, only midnight. I'm like, that is tomorrow. Like my parents told me I'll see you tomorrow. I love that, so I'll take that.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
One of the things that I think is like really cool is so. I mean, we've given you pretty much free reign, right?
Yeah.
But I get a text from you. Hey, Dad, I'm getting off work. I love you. I'm gonna go hang out with the dudes. We're going here. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Love you too. Have fun. Stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then last night, you were late coming home. So you shot me a text. You're like, hey, Dad, I'll be home in 6 minutes. Like, well, I don't know how far.
My map meant I was 6 minutes, said I was 6 minutes
away. Yeah, but I'm like, I don't know if he's really 6 minutes away or if he's trying to achieve
6 minutes.
If he's trying to achieve a 100-mile-an-hour race in 6 minutes. So I'm like, all right, well, like, take your time. And I'm send.
I'll be home in 6 minutes.
There's no rush.
That's probably the most like eerie message ever. I'll be home. I'll make it 5.
Yeah. I'm like, no, dude, I don't care if it takes you 30 fucking minutes. Drive slow. Because the point I made last night is like, how do you know you're not racing to your death? Yeah. Right. Like if you're trying to race to get home, and this is another thing too, is if you put like the punishment needs to fit the crime. If you don't come home on time, what's the punishment?
Come home earlier tomorrow.
Yeah. The next day you have to come home earlier. If you get home late again that day, what happens?
Same thing.
Yeah, you go home, come home earlier. Like, and then the third strike is you don't get to go out anymore. Exactly. Yeah. So the punishment has to fit the crime. I think if you get too crazy with your punishment, like outside the realm of whatever, that it causes more rebellion. Yeah,
I don't think taking technology, like, okay, your kid like talks back to you and the whole my favorite is like the grades dropping and the kids and the parents take everything. I love that. I hate that. I don't think that matches anything. If he's not doing his homework because he's playing Xbox all day,
right?
Take his Xbox.
Okay.
And put him on the computer and make him do some homework.
Yeah.
But if he's like, like whatever, he's struggling in his classes and he's trying, he doesn't even play Xbox, but he's like, okay, take your phone, Xbox. It's like, okay, that doesn't. Now I have less resources to do the homework you wanted me to do. You know what I mean? Because some of these things are necessary out here for these kids,
Yeah, there was a recent test that Brooklyn took, and no one told her that they were allowed to use Google. And there's information in the test that they needed Google for.
Wow.
She got the top grade in the class, but her grade still suffered. And so like the teacher had to like reformulate how they were going to grade everybody based on the fact that everybody bombed this stupid test, and told them afterwards, hey, why didn't you guys use Google? Like, well, because they didn't know. Mm-hmm. So you got to be like clear about what your expectations are for that. So that's a good point that you brought up. Like today's digital age, especially I think because of COVID and the lockdowns, like kids have gotten used to using the internet to do a lot of their research. Like when I was a kid, we had a book and it was called the encyclopedia. Okay. So imagine internet being in a book form.
It's terrible.
Dude, terrible. Like A was like 2 or 3 books.
Could you play games on the encyclopedia?
No, you couldn't. Okay. And I remember my dad, I really hated my dad for this because I'd come to him and I'd ask him any question like, hey, Dad, what's a beaver? And he would just point to the encyclopedias. Like, okay, you can't just tell me real quick that it's like, this is a mammal, that it lives in the water and it's got a flat tail, 2 big buck teeth, it chews wood. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's such a pain in the butt. But that's where I learned a lot of independence from, was learning how to find the information on my own. I don't think that like we've ever abandoned you. I think you tried to abandon yourself a few times. You struggled with math and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then we saw that your grades, that's the other thing we're on top of, is your grades. We're like, dude, what's with this grade?
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, it sucks. It's geometry. I'm like, well, geometry is not math, bro. Right. Yeah. So we've taken the extra step. We offered that we would sit and work with you on your math or whatever. Right. Mm-hmm. We've gotten you tutors when you needed it. But we've tried to be as hands-off as possible to let you shape your own life. Like, we haven't pushed you with religion of the Bible, but your understanding of faith in the Bible is pretty incredible for a kid who's 17.
So,
dude, it's impressive. Because like, you're teaching me shit now. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. So let's see what else we can talk about.
Capital punishment.
All right, so parents, right?
Yeah.
You've got some friends that you go to school with, and they've got single moms and single dads, right?
Yeah.
How does that reflect on the kids, girls versus boys? Girls being raised by a single mom or single dad, what do you notice differences in their behavior? Is it better for a girl to be raised by a single mom, or is it better for a girl to be raised by a single dad?
I just think that.
Or do you think both parents have to be involved?
God. Okay. I think ideally, obviously, ideally,
okay.
Both parents should be present. I think you need a healthy balance of a man and a woman in a child's life. But if they were to split up, I think the daughter should stick with the mom. I think the son should stick with the dad. I think a guy is going to need a guy a little more.
Think so?
Yeah, because he'll meet other women in his life. I think women in the world are important, but like, if you're being raised to be a man, you need a man to teach you how to be a man.
Okay.
You know,
what makes you have that belief? What have you seen that makes you feel like that's important? Because
I've seen, when you and me are wrestling,
my
mom's like, "Stop! You're gonna hurt him." She couldn't teach me how to be like a tough dude. I couldn't. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I wouldn't learn a lot of the things I have learned. So I don't think that mom could do the same thing for me that you have.
Okay.
But I also don't think that you could do the same thing for Brooklyn that she has. Maybe. I don't know how,
right.
So again, I just think that there's essential things that guys need for men.
How good of a relationship do your friends have with their parents? Are they able to sit down and chat like you and me?
No. I don't know. I don't see behind closed curtains or closed doors, but from what I've seen, and what I've asked them, they have a very different relationship than you. You know what I mean? Because I can talk to you about anything whenever. Like, you're just like another person in the world,
Yeah.
It's very weird, like, parent relationship. Like, you know what I mean? Like, very just like, I stay in my room and you do whatever a kid does,
Yeah.
Don't bother me. So I don't know. Very weird.
Yeah. I mean, I might go a day or two without getting to see you because I'm working, you're working. Yeah. I'm working, you're going to school or whatever. But we tend to bump into each other, and we try to spend time together. Like yesterday, you spent like all day helping me with the cabinets and shit. Like, it was just nice having a friend in the garage to talk to while I'm doing that, And moving the couches out of the house. Now that you're like all big and buff, that was fun. I think I still feel that in my back a little bit.
Yeah, dude, my shoulders will never recover.
Right?
Never.
So, but yeah, you've called me when you're out with your friends. You put me on speakerphone.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, "What's up, motherfucker?"
And they're all surprised. They never expect that at all. They're all like,
right?
What the hell?
Well, because I think it's important that you're always just honest with your kids. Like, be yourself around your kids. Don't be a fake, one way around work, one way around your spouse, one way around your kids. I think the one frustrating thing for a lot of people that meet me is they're like, "Dude, you're the exact same person."
Yeah, that is so true, dude. That's what it is about you. That's weird.
Like, you're like, dude, like, is he this way all the time? The answer is yes.
Yeah, dude.
I'm the same way. Like, and what's hard for me is I try to be a little bit more professional when I'm teaching classes, when I'm teaching people how to handle firearms, but a lot of my personality still comes out. Like, this is me, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Suck it up, buttercup. I mean, especially with vaping. I know a lot of people are like anti-smoking, anti-vaping. I think that's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, people are like, "Hey, what flavor is that?" I'm like, "I don't even know, dude. It's like some sort of fruity bat piss or something."
Bat piss?
Yeah, it's whatever, just, I don't know what it is. I don't even care. But like, I vape pretty much everywhere I go. I vape when I'm teaching my classes. I know people listening to it, it probably frustrates them. Like, "Dude, I can't stand it." But it is what it is. Like, love it or leave it, right?
Sure.
but we never. Okay, so drinking, right?
Drinking.
So drinking is your dad an alcoholic?
No.
How often do you see me drink?
Maybe. I mean, what's the fucking blue moon? I don't know. On occasions,
Right?
It's family events.
Once in a blue moon, I'll have a beer or two.
Memorial Day, maybe.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'm getting liquored up on Monday. But I never hid it from you.
No.
I never told you drinking was bad.
No.
Right? We've had just a discussion like, okay, here's what people drink, here's why they drink it. I remember all the boys, especially like Brooklyn too. I mean, but with the boys, like I gave you guys sips of alcohol when you were little. Like I remember you dined me out. I like beer, Mom. And Mom's came home. She's like, "What's going on here?" Like the other boys, like, "Shh, quiet." I had to explain to Mom that I gave you a sip of beer. You know, we've never downed keggers together.
No.
Okay, but you turn 21, dude. It's going to happen. But I have enjoyed getting to sit down and have a beer or two with Anthony and Chris. So that day will come. Have you been a big drinker going out with your friends and shit like that?
I'm gonna smile now because you're asking me like a weird question. I don't like alcohol. I really hate it. I don't like alcohol. As we speak, I think it's gross.
Why is that?
Because it's like drinking like engine fluid. Number one, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't think that being drunk is a good feeling. I don't think I feel in control when I'm fucking drunk at all.
What about beer?
That's what we're talking about, right? You just said.
I said alcohol, and you said it tastes like turpentine, like a lot of hard alcohol.
I don't like any of it. I think it all tastes like shit. I think it all makes you feel like shit.
What about drugs?
Oh yeah, love crack. No, dude, no, I don't like drugs.
Why not?
Because again, I don't feel like I'm in control.
You have a lot of friends that do drugs.
I don't know. I have a lot of friends that do drugs. What do you mean by that?
You've had friends that have done drugs.
Sure, maybe sure.
And what have you noticed about them? What's kept you from wanting to get involved with drugs?
What has kept me from wanting to get involved with drugs?
Yeah.
From their behavior. Well, a lot of them are just stupid. I mean, just literally like, like genuinely dumb. Like they don't have any good ideas. Like you get to a point where like it just consumes you and there's nothing else that you think about, talk about. I have this person I know who is, and I used to really enjoy talking to him. I used to really like hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And he's not someone I know very well. He just kind of goes around school.
Yeah.
Just can't have a conversation with him now that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he's just, it's just mushrooms on Friday, acid on Saturday. And
Jesus.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I talked to him recently because it's not funny. It's really not funny. But, I talked to him recently and he was clean. Now he's not. But, it's a bad roller coaster. It's nasty.
What do you want to do when you get out of high school?
Military.
Yeah. How come?
Because I think it'd be nice to like. I don't want to work in an office job. I want to be active. Like I want
physical.
I want to do something with my body, and then I won't be spending money. I'll just be saving money like that too.
I know that.
Get away for a little bit,
Dude, you already have more money saved than I did. Well into my 20s. Like I was, as fast as I made it, I wanted to spend it because I think a lot of that's because I grew up not having shit.
Yeah.
So like when I finally got a paycheck, I was like, oh, I've always wanted this. I've always wanted that. So that's something I was like excited about with you is you like really squirrel things away and
I like spending.
You don't go to the mall and buy like name brand stuff. Like you typically.
I'll go to the mall when I go to the mall, I don't spend money. I might find a shirt like once in the blue moon that I like.
Yeah.
Everything else.
What cracks me up is like you still have a wardrobe. Like you could wear an outfit every day for a month before you'd have to do laundry. Like you need more hampers because I think you actually do that. I think that you just save up all your dirty laundry for like a month before you finally like, oh crap. All right, I'll wash a basket. Yeah.
It's bad.
It's pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
I think you're ready for the military?
Do I think I'm ready for the military?
Yeah.
Physically, probably not. Mentally, I don't know. I never
physical. They'll take care of.
I've never been sleep deprived for like days on end, so we'll see how that works. But
you'll be fine.
I think I'll be fine.
Like I said, I think the thing that's going to be the most fun for you is you're probably going to feel the most at home you've ever felt because you're going to be surrounded by people exactly like your dad and your brothers.
It's true.
What are you going to do in the military? What do you want to do?
I don't know. I don't know how this whole thing works yet. Yeah. I don't know what the military looks like. I don't know. I haven't seen the military.
Well, you pick a job, then you go and do that job.
Yeah, they assume it works something like that, but
you want to be infantry? Do you want to work on computers?
Infantry. I don't want to jump out of anything, dude.
What?
I don't want to jump out of anything like you, buddy.
What? Are you serious?
No airplanes. No.
Well, if you want to go SF and Ranger and shit, you're gonna have to jump out of
and
planes.
I've come to terms with that, but I don't.
You've come to terms with what? That you're gonna have to jump out of planes?
Yeah, for that. But I don't want to. I don't want to like be crazy or nothing out of planes all the time.
Dude, it's perfectly safe. I've done it a lot.
If I could prefer to, I'd be on the ground.
I'll tell you what though, like I wouldn't. If I had it to do all over again, I wouldn't sign up for every jump available.
Yeah,
like I did. Dude, it was such a rush. Like I just like, hey, we're gonna go do a fun jump this weekend. And I'd jump in the line and go out, and because you didn't have to take any equipment or gear, so it was like, all right, so it's, and then you got to go home like when you got done, right? So you skip a normal duty day, you go do a fun jump. You don't have a whole bunch of equipment and gear, right? So and you jump, but the problem is. You still have to do your combat jumps with your unit with all the heavy gear and all that other kind of crap. So in my 4 years of service, I jumped like over 40 something times. But on the other hand, I got to help third group had a jump out of a UH-60 Blackhawk, and they had to get like a certain number of jumps in. So they had like a stack of parachutes on a pallet. Helicopter would land, these guys would gear up, they'd hop in a helicopter, they'd get up to like 1,500 feet or something, and they'd jump out of the helicopter. And I never jumped out of a helicopter. And they just did this all day long, run back with their chutes, pick up another chute, hop in the helicopter, go up and jump. And so we're just there, securing all the gear and equipment and shit like that. Towards the end of the day, they're like, hey, you guys want to go? I was like, fuck yeah, I want to go. And all right, grab a chute, let's go. I was like, all right, cool. How do you do this? You just go.
You just go.
You just go. Put your feet on the gear. You're already hooked up on top. You feel a pat in your back. You just step off.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, cool. So I got like one helicopter jump under my belt, but it's not recorded anywhere because we were never there.
Yeah.
Like they can't go back and tell people that they let them do this helicopter jump that they're not rated to, that they're not allowed to do.
That's terrible.
But I got to do it. So it was cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, fun stuff, dude. I got to do a lot of fun stuff. So I think with that aspect, and I think honestly for boys, like getting to spend at least one enlistment, it gears you up and gives you a lot of stuff. Like if you choose to do it beyond the first enlistment, awesome. But I think just doing the first enlistment gives you everything you need to really feel independent and like leave the old life behind and become a whole new person. Like you just suddenly know what you want out of life. And it's in many ways, it's kind of like a vacation from responsibility because they're telling you what to do every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't have to think about anything. Just
and then you can, you get exposed to a lot of stuff. You get exposed to a lot of people that from all over the country. You get to go see a lot of things. Like it helps you realize that there's a bigger world out there than just yourself.
Yeah.
So any hooker, I appreciate you sitting down and talking to us about your thoughts on all this stuff.
Oh, thank you for having me.
What do you think your school's doing to keep you kids safe? What do you think of their plans?
Oh, dude, bro, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I don't think they have a plan. I mean, they have an idea.
Yeah,
it's not gonna work. I think because again, like they've said 100 times before, like anybody with any brain would have thought like immediately is that if you're teaching these kids how to avoid a shooter, and the shooter is one of the kids every time, well then congratulations, you just showed them every good fucking hiding spot. You know what I mean? So like there is no hiding. and no, I'm not sitting in a corner. I'll take my backpack and I'll.
So because they're doing active shooter drills in your school,
Yeah,
they're teaching who's most likely to be an active shooter in your school.
Yeah.
How they're going to respond to the active shooter that goes to your school.
Yeah.
And so you don't think that's a good idea?
No.
Okay.
No.
What should they do differently about that?
What should they do differently? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you can do. I've never even liked the idea at all in general of, let's just close the door, turn lights off, sit in the corner. And every door has a fucking like window, so it's like, it doesn't even matter. You get in if you wanted to. But yeah, I don't know what the solution would be for, I mean, how to prepare for it without preparing the person that would be most likely a threat.
What if teachers were armed? How do you feel about teachers being allowed to be armed, not forcing it on them? Because clearly there's some teachers who are capable and some who are not. Do you think that would help at all?
I mean,
would you feel better if you were in a math class as a big burly dude who you knew trained regularly?
Yeah, I mean, okay, if I knew they trained,
If I was your teacher,
yeah, dude, if you were, then I wouldn't care. That'd be great.
You'd feel cozy in your class, right? Great, if I was your teacher.
But I know a couple of teachers that if they had a fucking gun, I'd honestly be
more scared.
More scared, yeah. I'd be like, fuck this shit, I'm leaving, dude.
Why do you say that? What is it about them in particular?
Ignorance, just lack of knowledge of
firearms in general, based on statements and things that they've made.
Carelessness too.
Yeah. You've had a couple of teachers that were short-tempered.
Yeah, that too, which I also thought about. Yeah, right. A couple teachers that definitely like to like puff their chest and So I don't know how to feel about just being like, yeah, you can carry a gun, Joe, whatever his name is,
right?
Tim.
How do you think teachers are vetted? How do you think they get chosen?
I don't know. I think they seriously look for people that hate kids, because I don't know where they get these guys. I think the requirement has to be that you wanted to be something before.
Okay.
And then that didn't work out. So now you're a teacher.
Wow.
I'm kidding. That's horrible.
But it's kind of true. I mean, yes. I experienced the same thing when I was going to school.
A lot of these teachers, like, they just make it clear, like, I wanted to be this. Now I'm here. I don't like it. Okay. Like, sorry. Like, I had nothing to do with that,
Yeah, it's almost like sometimes they give you the lecture speech that you typically get that speech because you're causing complications.
Yeah.
A child is causing a complication, or like, dude, I don't even want to be here.
Yeah.
I wanted to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
This is my backup plan, and you're making my backup plan a real pain in the ass. So you should respect me and my authority. I think it's probably one of the worst speeches as a teacher you can give a child.
Yeah.
Is like, this is your backup plan.
Yeah.
So it wasn't your priority.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think a teacher should ever tell a kid that. I think.
I also hate the whole, this is my classroom. No, it's not. It's not your classroom. Okay. It's not your classroom. I don't know what you're talking about. I hate that, because like they get very like
possessive.
Yeah, because I think there's better ways.
Yeah, there's better ways to do
behavior amongst kids.
I
also think most kids aren't like trying to be a total jerk, dude. I think most kids are just.
What if the teacher said, "All right, guys," on day one, they were like, "Hey, guys, let's come up with some classroom rules. I want you guys to write down what you think are the 5 most important things that everybody should do in order for us to increase your chances of learning." And the kids would write down 5 things, like, okay, well, no cell phones because they're distracting. Mm-hmm. And the kids wrote down that the teacher has to be patient and answer questions. Okay. Or that the kids wrote down that they learn better by doing than just seeing it. Right. Yeah. Like, you can the teachers get up there sometimes, they just write on the board. All right, everybody, go for it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like, what if the classroom rules were like more interactive, so that kids felt like it wasn't your rules, it was stuff that we as a group came up with? You think?
Pretty sure I've had teachers do that when I was younger.
Do you think the kids would respect the rules more?
Yeah.
If it was done that way?
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately,
I've just genuinely, I've never seen anybody strictly enforce rules at a high school and watch the kids positively react at all. Like the moment you get angry, react anything, dude. Like they're just it's just terrible.
And it goes back to the punishment fitting the crime.
Yeah.
So if a kid's being disruptive,
exactly. If he's talking, if he's being a distraction, remove the distraction.
You know what really cracks me up is I had teachers that if somebody was being distracting, the teacher would pause the class.
Oh, yeah, I know, dude.
And have that kid stand up and tell everybody what was going on. What was so funny? That usually like boom, shot them down.
Show me the video you're laughing at, bro.
Right, yeah.
You're laughing at your phone. What's in the phone, dude? It's like, no, okay. No, it's not funny anymore.
How do you have me listed in your phone? You wrote that.
Sexy dad.
Sexy dad.
Sexy dad. Yeah.
Because I've called you at school before.
You called me and I told my teacher.
And the teacher took your
my
phone.
dad. She's like, your dad. She's like, sexy dad. And I was like, oh. I don't want to explain that right now.
How'd that happen? Did one of your friends put that in there? Or was
that was you already. When I first got my phone, you were like, oh, you little dad chuckle when you put that in there. And I just never changed it because it was funny.
It is funny.
It's been that way for like years now.
All right. So you have any final thoughts for parents before we hang this up and call it a day? You got to go to work soon.
Oh God. Any final thoughts?
Like if you could tell American parents across the world, right? Here's what you need to do. What would it be?
Question.
All right. While you're thinking about it, I'm going to steal the best answer in the world, and that is be involved in your kids.
Yeah.
Have a good working relationship with your kids. Be honest with your kids. Don't lie about yourself and who you are. You know, it's okay that your kids know that you're not perfect. I think it's a lot of parents try to hide their imperfections.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think your parents are perfect?
No.
We're pretty messed up, right?
Yeah.
But having that good working relationship. Oh, and honesty. Honesty was always a big thing in our house.
I like what you just said too. Admitting that you're not perfect. That's what parents do. That is the worst thing ever. Acting like they're perfect. Because it is such a confusing thing as a kid to grow up thinking your parents are perfect and then they're not. It's going to hit them even harder, dude. That's like the dumbest thing ever.
Right.
And then they feel bad for not being perfect because you're a perfect example and I'm not perfect. So every mistake they make is just 10 times worse.
Right. Because you don't live up to that perfect expectation.
So yeah, definitely honesty.
Yeah, honesty was a big thing in our house. Like you'd get punished 10 times harder for telling a lie than if you told the truth.
Well, I think you should be able to tell your parents anything.
Because we can't fix it if we don't know what's broke. So like if we come down with such harsh punishments that you're afraid to be honest with us, it has the exact opposite effect of what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
You know? You recently wrecked your mirror on your car.
Oh yeah. I was at McDonald's and they messed up my order. They told me to park up front.
Yeah.
So I pulled around. I went to park up front and I just took off my mirror pretty much. Destroyed my like left side mirror.
And then you texted me or you called me.
I called you immediately. I was like, this is so dumb. But I just.
And what did I say?
You were just like, it's whatever. It's all good.
Right? Because I mean, who hasn't messed up their car?
Yeah, true.
Right? Who hasn't? And I already knew that like you already felt bad about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody got hurt. We got you a new mirror.
True.
Right? You had to pay. Did you have to pay for it? You paid for it.
Yeah.
You paid for the brakes. A bunch of other stuff we had to fix in your car. Not related. That's
Pretty
just
sure I
normal
got
wear and tear.
scammed. I think he just took my money.
Oh, whatever. Anyway.
Nothing looks different.
Whatever.
It's still the same color.
Some people's kids. All right, we'll go to work. Make lots of money. Fucking love you, kid.
Love it too.
And hopefully some of you found this interesting and useful. We need to come back here and talk about apps someday.
Apps?
Oh, yeah. Apps and how kids are using Snapchat and shit to sell drugs and shit. Oh, yeah. Like you had a whole family, like mom and dad were in on the...
Dude, the plug, dude.
The what?
Plug.
What is the plug?
That's your guy. That's what you're talking about, bro. The plug.
Oh, that's a code word.
Yeah.
We didn't have
plug,
that. Well,
you know? Because they're like the middleman. Those are those like the guys on Snapchat. They're called plugs, dude.
Yeah. We could probably talk about like dude sex in high school.
I could. Guys aren't ready, man. So much.
You want to come back and do that?
I could do anything. Yeah, about this generation. Yeah,
this generation.
There's a lot.
because they have a
Because
completely
I don't.
different,
Yeah. It's
they have a completely different view on sex than like when my generation.
Yeah,
And I thought my generation was pretty bad. But
Yeah.
yours, the stuff
No,
you're
dude,
telling me
like,
about yours.
God, I wish I could get my life on video, dude, so you could see the shit that I see.
Dude, trust me, I want to stick a webcam up your ass so I can capture all this stuff going on, man. I want to track you.
Track
I want to put a tracking device on you. I want to see, because secretly I know that you're up to no good all the time.
They like to think that I'm up to no good, but I'm. There's nothing not good to be up to.
But no, but in all seriousness, I think that if we sat down and talked, and you tell our listeners about the applications the kids have on their phone, how they use them, because I've noticed even with like Brookie when she was little, some of the games and stuff that she played, people approached her through those games and apps.
Oh yeah.
That she'd be like, Dad, what is this guy? This guy's asking me for X, Y, and Z. And then I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I mean, there's so many games and apps that like we've had to turn off. I'm like, you know what? That game's not worth the risk involved. So, and nowadays technology, sharing locations and everything else, Snapchat.
Oh, there's so many different apps and games
and kids have workarounds for everything because kids are techie.
They're techie. And so are tech companies. They literally make shit for kids to like say fuck you, mom and dad.
Dude, and you know what?
They don't want you to listen to your parents. They don't want you to like have a good, respectful household. They want you to just fucking
I always thought that high school was kind of like jail.
Yeah, that's what it
feels like prisoners. They learn the workaround and everything.
That's what it is. I'm serious, dude. That's why like you hear me say this shit, and it's a lot of this prison terminology that they use in high school because of all the other kids that say that. Yeah, it's annoying.
We definitely have to do that.
School to prison pipeline.
So we'll do like apps on, because you know what, it doesn't matter, because as soon as we put it out there, that information out there, kids will adapt and it'll change.
Yeah.
But hopefully it'll save a few folks and their relationships with their kids. So anyway, I love you. Appreciate you doing this.
Love you.
Parents, I think, will get a kick out of hearing you say this, because again, he's only 17, folks. He's only 17. I'd love to take all the credit for this, but
I've done it myself.
No,
I don't know what to thank you, Mom.
We're gonna talk later. Anyway, he's done a lot of this all on his own. But I love you, kid. All right.